What's up, y'all? Welcome to another review by Ryan, and a very happy Thursday to all of you. It is Thursday, February 2nd, and I hope you all are doing well wherever you're at in the world at the time you find this reaction. So in this video reaction, I'll be reacting to the 5th episode of the second Cour of the 4th season of DanMachi, and the title of today's episode is Welf, Crozzo, Shikou. So last episode, we kind of took a bit of a backseat from Belle and Nu's story. We did start with another portion of the flashback as Nu was flashing back to the times that she spent in the earlier days with her familia. Well, not even so much the earlier days, just the days with her familia, when they were tasked by the guild to investigate Evilus and what was going on down in the dungeon. And we got to see a bit more of the personalities between the girls, and all the girls seem like absolute gems to see. Like, I would 100% love to see a spinoff of Nu's familia, because they seem like absolute gems. Unfortunately, it is hard to be excited when they're on screen because we are well aware that their fates ended in everyone except Nu dying. So it's really hard seeing them on screen and wanting to smile and wanting to be excited knowing their fate, but it was still fun to see that regardless. Of course, I wish our flashback was not happening in the circumstances they are, because she's having that flashback because she's having trauma. Nu's having a significant traumas and just bad vibes about everything that transpired. She's talking to herself, wanting them to stop, trying to prevent something that's already happened, while she's also trying to factor in the fact that her present day situation is very identical, and all the people that she has come to love and care for are probably going to end up dead if some miracle does not happen very soon. So we did get to see a bit of that flashback again, and we spent a lot of time back with Belle's adventure with all the other adventurers and the other guilds that are working, of course, together right now, trying to deal with the current crisis that is before Lily and her team. And I'm saying that because she's technically the one in charge, though, as I said last episode, it really was Aisha that really had to take charge because of the depression, especially after they ran into boars and found out that Belle might possibly have died down here in the fight against the Juggernaut, and it really lowered everyone's morale. And you had Lily who was just like, what am I even fighting for if the man who saved me is dead? And Aisha again showed up and showed out, taking command of the situation, telling them that they needed to get their heads out their asses and we needed to stay focused on the task at hand. Because if you know Belle, you know that Belle's not going to just give up quickly. And so I really had a lot of respect for Aisha last episode. She really came through, and she's come through throughout the duration of this entire season, especially the second part of the season. And I look forward to seeing more of her. I've said this time and time again since we started this 4th season. She was not a character I was very fond of, but she is a character I have become a lot more fond of as we have continued through the journey of season 3 and especially through season 4. So the only real thing that I really thought about from last week to this week, and that is kind of starting to get to me just a little, is their choice of doing the flashbacks to Nu's familia to the present day situation. Now, I told you guys 1 or 2 episodes ago that it seems they were trying to give us little cookie crumbs of what we already know ultimately results in the death of pretty much everyone who loved and cared for in her previous familia. And I kind of, some shows the cookie crumb method does work, but they're doing such a great job showing this story, and they've gotten us all geared up to seeing this flashback. This is truly one of those times that I feel that this is the time to go ahead and get it out the way. Let us just focus one good episode on everything that transpired with her former familia leading up to their deaths so that we can then see what could be in store for us if we don't make the right decisions now in present day. What I kind of am starting not to like, and it's actually genuinely my only negative I have with the entirety of the season and the entirety of this second Cour, is they're giving us breadcrumbs. We get a little bit of the familia, we go back focusing on Belle and Rue. Then we get a little bit more cookie crumbles, and then we go and take the rest of the episode like we did last week, focusing on Aisha and Lily and Welf and the rest of them and their dire situation on the now 26th floor and beyond, and what the hell they're going to be able to do. And I just want us to stay focused. They're doing a really great job of presenting this story to us, but I feel that they're kind of milking the inevitability of what we're going to see with Rue's familia eventually, and I wish at this stage, just let me get my tears out the way so that I can move on and focus, because there's just so many moving parts that are happening with this present season, and there's just so much that I just can't keep up with. So again, very big thanks to those of you who come back in each of my reactions and you fill in the blanks of things that either I may have missed or this is something that I might not have mentioned because, of course, it was only in the source and not shown in the anime. So again, very big thank you to those of you who do that week by week. I don't get to read them as fast as I'd like to, but I really do appreciate all of your responses. So that's really my biggest negative. I just want them to go ahead and let us fully focus on what transpired and everything that led to her familia's downfall so that we can move on and focus on the present day. And outside of that, I'm still very, very happy with the presentation of this show. But because I now said that this show could be a contender for a 10 out of 10, I have to look at all of the possible negatives and determine if any of those negatives could potentially bring my rating down. And at the present moment, that is really the only thing, and that is kind of a significant thing, only because it's so deeply rooted into the second Cour, is getting to see the history of her familia and all of the girls that she came to know and love and want to protect. So we'll see how they continue with the portrayal. I'm sure we're going to get more of the flashback through this episode, and I just wanted to throw it out there that's, again, it is a minor thing, but it's also significant enough that we'll have to see how it plays out, and then I'll probably talk later in the season, if not at the end of the season, and let you know what my final thoughts are, and if I think that direction that they chose to go, if it's going to pay off or not. So that's all I got as far as my pre-reaction thoughts. Again, I'm still greatly enjoying this season. It's given me everything I possibly could have wanted, and I look forward to seeing where we go from this point for both Lily and Gang and for Belle and Liu, because again, yes, they've managed to make it out of a lot of life and death situations so far down here, but they are still nowhere close to actually getting out of here. So we'll see how it all plays out. Before we start the reaction, I'm saying this in all of my videos, I do want to announce to you my reaction delays and cancellations, and I'm going to put it up on the screen now. Again, I'm going to be in Japan starting next week, and I'll be there for a little bit, not too long, just a little over a week, and I'll be back by Thursday and Friday, but because of that is going to delay some of my reactions. So for Tomo-chan is a Girl, episode 6 is going to be skipped, and I will pick back up on episode 7 after I return. DanMachi, season 4, there will be no episode skip. I'm going to do a doubleheader reaction. That doubleheader reaction will happen either on the 16th or the 17th at the latest, depending on how tired I am and any jet lag that I may go through. I'm going to talk about the third one more in the Spy Classroom reaction I'll be doing after this video reaction, but after today's reaction to Spy Classroom, I have made the unfortunate decision to cancel all future reactions to Spy Classroom due to pretty much no viewership on any of those reactions, lack of dialogue, lack of any traction, and overall the community that just kind of got just put off by the decisions that they chose to make with the story in the second and third episode. Again, this is a small channel. I love this channel, and I didn't want to do this, but I have to have some traction so that the channel is, liked and clicked on by others. And if no one's watching the videos, there's no point in me continuing to do the reactions. So I will be canceling the Spy Classroom reactions after today, but I will come back at the end of the Spy Classroom season to give you my final thoughts at that time. Miss Nagatoro's second attack, I'll be skipping the seventh episode episode, and I'll pick back up on the 8th episode. Nier Automata version 1.1a, the entire anime is presently on hiatus. It is an indefinite hiatus. We at the present moment do not know when the show is going to resume, and this is a production hiatus due to COVID-19. Inspector Season 2. I am saying that I'm going to skip episode 6, but because Inspector is one of my most popular and look forward to reactions, I might actually decide to go ahead and do it, but I won't know that until that reaction is done. So at the present moment, I am going to skip episode 6 reaction, and I'll pick back up on episode 7, but I'll let you guys know in episode 7 if I choose to do both or not. And then last but not least, the D4 DJ All Mix reaction is being delayed, but I'm going to be doing part of the recording for the next reaction video after this week in Japan. So look forward to more information regarding the D4 DJ All Mix reaction once I am back. So with that said, that's all I wanted to say. I'm going to go set up the video. I'll be back in a split second for y'all, and we'll go ahead and get this reaction started. All right, guys, I am back. So we're going to go ahead and start on this the 5th episode reaction of the second Cour. Again, the title is Welf Crozzo. As we should all know by now, at the end of the last episode, he has asked them to protect him as he's going to make up a weapon shop in the dungeon so that he can produce some more swords that will help them have a better chance of survivability. So looks like we're going to have a lot of focus around that protection and probably a bit more flashbacks regarding Deus Familia. So let's go ahead and get this reaction started in 3, 2, 1. About justice, you say? A straightforward way to put it. Hey, y'all let her be. And everyone in their own way has their own definition of justice. It's the reason why things like the death penalty is always looked at through many different lenses. She had a really well-rounded familia. It's such a shame. Hey, at least I like that they have these type of discussions. It keeps the dialogue open. The phony kind. I respect it. Something we hide. It's an interesting way of looking at it. Hey. I like it though. Oh my goodness. So, starting this off talking about the meaning of justice. Something that generations after generations of people still truly haven't figured out. Also, as a reminder for those of you that don't know, and I mentioned this earlier, basically her familia was classified as the police force of their area, of their land. They were the police. That's why the talks of justice and them being called upon to investigate things that were going down in dungeons in the way that they were, it made complete sense for them because they served as everyone's protector. So that's why their loss was just so monumental when her familia ended up wiped out. I'm just not looking forward to visually seeing their demise. I really, really am not. Also, if I'm correct, Kaguya, the other girl, the one who was talking about, who gave the kickback on the whole justice thing, I want to say that she is number 2 of the familia, I think? Can't remember. That makes about good sense for the both of you. And we've already had to deal with them damn skull sheep. I don't know if anyone will get to y'all in time. Yeah, like... Unfortunately, that is the absolute truth. Y'all are gonna have to find a way. If there was no better time to use the word miracle, this is now. You know my man about to put his heart and soul in these damn weapons. I mean, what other option do y'all have? I mean, Boris, if you have a better option, let us know. Mister, you just lost all your people. We have no other option. But again, I'm serious about that. If you have another option that works better, please let us know. Because we are all open ears. Yeah, but I do wonder for the amount of blades he's going to need, how much time he'd actually need. They're going to have to hold back these monsters for quite a long time. I guess we're only saying that because we don't want to waste any more energy than we need to. Because my whole thing will be like, no, I'll kill him if at all possible. Yeah, and you're doing this without the proper resources or anything. The 39th. Damn. But going up, do you know where the safety point is either? I assume it's the 36. Shoot, any more unpleasant than it already is? Shoot, the only way I see y'all getting equipment is if you find more dead bodies and having to take the equipment from them. Yep. Exactly. That's the only way. That's the only way. Belle, you're gonna have to just accept it. You have to accept it. There is no other option. Belle, y'all will end up dead. Please listen to her. Please. Please, Belle. You're a good person, Belle. I know that. But there is no other option here. Again, the morality of being a human. You're weighed against all your morals when it comes to something like this. Yeah, this is hard for her. Again, I do always respect that whole thing of, honor to the deceased. That you don't desecrate the dead. It's a bad set of circumstances. Oh. A map is always beneficial, even incomplete in a situation like this. I played enough games to tell you how much them things was life and death. Mm. And I can't express enough how seriously injured they are. Like, if any major attack happens at this stage in the game, even with the extra gear. Also, yes, guys, I did see Belle shriek for that quick moment with you, but there are far more important things to be focused on right now. Damn. It is truly a miracle that they've made it up to this point. Looking at those corpses. I really do wonder which familia this was. Why do I get this feeling it's about to be a familia that we know? It may not be, and I may just be completely overthinking this, but we'll see. I mean, but I do think you made the right decision. It's just that with the specific material you're using, it's just hell. I wouldn't call it dumb. I wouldn't call it dumb. Not with all circumstances right now. I have no doubt my money's gonna come through. No doubt. I say you better put your back into that shit. What changed the power of internal monologue and friendship? Let me stop. Man, that's a good way of putting that. So you just had to give her a little friendly reminder. Hey! Like a roast. I don't know how you got it in that shape that quickly, but man, we needed some level of a break. Gosh. Woo! Yes, sir! That's that type of firepower we need down here. Yes, indeed. Didn't leave a trace. Damn. Let me find out, Welf. I hate to say it like this. This means we have a chance for at least one more floor. At least that one looks like it's going to be the most durable yet, and courtesy of the very material that you use. It should definitely last us for at least a couple of floors. But my thing is whether it makes it all the way to where they are, that's a different story, and I think that's pushing it, even with anime luck on our side. White Labyrinth. Oh boy. And so now our entire episode next time will be focused on the White Palace, and yep, definitely we'll have to double head that when I get back. Okay, so Couple of thoughts here. So obviously we started off again with another flashback, and again my same thing I said at the start of the reaction I'm going to hold to here. I just wish we'd go ahead and just focus on the entirety of that story and then come back to focusing on the journey of the White Palace and the journey through the 26 floors and below for Aisha and Lily and Welf in them. So, but alas, it was a good scene, and we got to start off with questioning of justice. And, it's funny, anytime the word justice is brought up, I agree with what everyone's saying. And also, this brings me to really like their familia, because they ask themselves those type of questions and accept the fact that everyone has a different ideology and thought behind the word. Obviously the root part of the word is standing up for what's right, but then you'll be asked, well, what is right and what is wrong? What do you translate as being right? What do you translate as being wrong? Again, we had the morality conversation again when we were watching Belle and Lou have to, again, desecrate the dead, because there is a moral thing amongst humans that no matter what happens, that once a person dies, you do not desecrate a dead body, you don't dismember it, you don't cause any harm to it. Even in war, you can get hit with war crimes for doing something like that. And so, I like the fact that got brought up here. But again, like he said, her being a high elf, Ryu being the type of being that she is, that she wouldn't have brought up the suggestion that she did of having to remove the gear from them if she wasn't just tearing herself up inside. But everyone, both the party that's on the 26th and Ryu and Belle down here, they are truly understanding and grasping the fact that for every waking second that they hesitate, they are 1 second away from death. They have no choice. They have no armor. They have severe injuries, both external and internal. We have no idea, even with all the healing spells that have been cast, how many bones and organs and everything have just exploded and been completely destroyed. I mean, literally, Belle and Ryu are literally walking dead people right now, that by some miracle of luck and healing, they've managed to make it to this point. So for both of them now, and what I really want Belle to continue understanding is it's good. The fact that Belle questions these things still means that no matter how dire the situation is, he still has his humanity intact. And I think that that's one of the key things here when it comes to being in these lower layers. It's very easy to cast away your humanity, your morality. And I want to bring up a show that is very near and dear to my heart when I bring this up. When they were talking about the bodies and the desecration, this and that, and just making these decisions that are necessary. I don't know why I randomly thought of it. This brought me back to Wazikan with A Maiden Abyss and a debate that I had with another one of my friends, a debate that I just stopped because I realized that we were just going to debate about it and we weren't going to make any progress with the conversation. But his decision to serve Itamui's dead children as food and sustenance to his people because that was the only way that they were going to survive. And the very big difference between that and this is that in his case, he had already tossed away humanity because once he realized that they weren't getting off of the 6th layer, he just decided, I'm just going to cast it away. He had thrown all his humanity away ages ago because he was just going to do what was necessary for the continuing perseverance of his people, even if that meant having to do something as inhuman as serving someone's dead kids to someone. Or in the cases that we came to find out later in that show, the kids were birthed, and before they could even die, he was killing them and then serving their deceased bodies as substance. So, that came back to the top of my head because that is the most recent show that I've watched recently that those level of morality challenges were brought up here. So in this case, goodness knows what those people prior to their deaths went through, and I'm just glad that Belle understands that they have to do what they have to do. But I also do like the fact that in both of their cases, they still have their humanity intact. They understand that hard decisions have to be made that to ensure that they don't die. But at the end of the day, they do still have respect for humanity, respect for each other, and respect for the people. And the best thing that they can do for these corpses is to carry on their legacy and make sure that they get the hell out of there. They now have a map. that. They have a Familia emblem, which hopefully we'll get to find out which Familia that emblem went to, and I hope it's not someone that we already knew. And I think that was a really well-handled scene there. Now, back up in the 26th layer and the protection of Welf and getting his blade ready. Obviously, we needed a little anime luck there for him to get that blade ready in time, because I do not know how in that 10, 15, 20 seconds it was from him getting his motivation of putting all of his back and soul into that blade, so it's suddenly not only being prepared in a blade shape, but being perfect, having perfect curvature and perfect sharpness, and just being ready in like 20 seconds. Again, that's that dungeon anime luck right there. But listen, as bad as things have been for them right now, I am willing to give exceptions to things that just manage to work out, because we know for every one thing that works out, that's going to be 6 things that's going to not work out and are going to go very, very bad for them very quickly. So I'm glad to see that he had his motivation to get the blade ready, that they were able to hold out just in time. He has hell amounts of firepower. And again, the big thing here is that he is using adamantine. So those who do not know what this source is, this is basically an indestructible material. And every dungeon game and every MMORPG game and any game of exploration, this is the material that you want, because this is the material that is virtually completely indestructible. So I know y'all heard me say, hopefully his blade will last a few levels. The reason I said that is, even though this material is virtually indestructible, we need to remember the circumstances that we're in. Everything about this dungeon has been, that we knew and thought operated under the normal pretense of dungeon exploring, throw it completely out. It's irrelevant. It doesn't matter. That shit don't mean nothing anymore. And we don't know how strong these monsters are. We don't know if other monsters in the lower floors have also been inadvertently affected by the fact that the Juggernaut and everything is now at play. So that's why I'm happy that he has his blade, but I have very little optimism of it lasting the entire way until they get to Bell. But we'll see how it all plays out. But I really did like how that went, and I did like how the rest of this episode went. And so now that he has his firepower and Meikyuu and Bell have their resolve, it looks like next episode we are going to be focusing on none other than the White Palace itself. So, lots to unpack there. This is a great episode. There are some things that I want to talk about, because I've been following how some other people are expressing their thoughts, as they're expressing their thoughts about how this season has been as a whole, both curse. And I saw some very concerning thoughts, with one thing just basically saying that the story is just gotten silly and slow and stupid now. We're going to get back to that when I get to my next reaction, because I'm not going to entertain that in this video. But I do want to talk about it, because it is a small but notable segment of the community saying that, even though I feel this is the best season we've ever gotten of the show, and I'm going to make a note of it to talk about how I feel about that subject when I do get back to my reaction in 2 weeks. So, but that's all for today. Thank you so much for joining me, guys. Really, really do appreciate it. Again, I love all of you that have watched my DanMachi reaction since the very first episode of the 4th season. Thanks so much for your dialogue. Please keep the dialogue coming. I promise you I'll read your post when I get a chance. If you did like the video, consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel. And if you want to be one of the first to be notified when a new reaction becomes available, hit the bell icon. So I will see all of you wonderful people in 2 weeks, as I will react to the 6th and 7th episode back to back 2 weeks from now. And until that time, catch you later.